All right, we've been talking a lot about how the NYSE handled the situation and whether or not they did the right thing at the right time. Nicole Petalides is on the floor of the NYSE with the NYSE Group president, Tom Farley, to talk about this. Nicole.
Well, we're very glad, obviously, to have President Tom Farley here with us on the Fox Business Network. I know you've had an extraordinarily busy day and still a fairly new NYSE president. You've had a lot of successful IPOs here. It's been a great run. But what do you consider today? I mean, black eye, embarrassing. What do you think this kind of day was?
It wasn't my best day as the president of the New York Stock Exchange. I mean, I take our role as kind of the center of the capital markets very seriously. And for 223 years, we've stood for being open for business and being reliable and trustworthy. And so this morning, as soon as I kind of caught wind of some anomalies in the way customers were receiving messages from us, I stepped in, I shut the market, suspended the market, I should say, here at the New York Stock Exchange, because it didn't feel like we were providing the type of market we need to.
I want to ask you a question about something that has been brought up, and I know you've been asked about this, but a critical point was that there was a software upgrade or a system upgrade overnight, and the traders have told me that in the hour before the market even opened, there were some issues. We saw it, some of the traders said at 8:15. We saw it clearly at 9:15, and those stocks were open manually at that time. Do you think that should have been a point to you to notice that something was wrong, or not really?
The open happened fine.
Mm-hmm.
The open,
those stocks were open manually, I believe. It did happen fine. I agree.
The open and the close, as you know, but maybe some of your audience doesn't know, those are the two biggest trades of the day. Those happen exclusively here in the New York Stock Exchange. They represent about 20% of our volume, and the open happened fine. It was really at 11 o'clock or so where the concerns escalated, and I was getting a number of them. As opposed to pre-open, it was minor, and in our business there are from time to time.
And you talked about the communications. You weren't necessarily getting everything, and you wanted to be fluid, you wanted to be fair, you wanted to be transparent, right? And that was part of the issue. What really happened? I mean, if you had to say what happened, what happened?
Exactly. There was a configuration error in our system that was causing difficulty, and we could have continued to trade, but our customers may have continued to have problems, and I felt that the better decision was let's suspend it, let's figure out what the configuration error is, let's fix it, let's put in place a plan to bring the market back up, and let's do it before the close, because that's actually the biggest day, and 100% of that happens here at the New York Stock Exchange.
Right, and I know we had an S&P rebalance. You actually had a pretty nice close at that, right?
We did, yeah, we did.
The other thing is that people are wondering, can this happen tomorrow?
You know,
I hope it doesn't, and I know that you worked really hard today with the team to get it right.
I'm smiling not because I'm taking any pleasure in this. It's just I've been on the phone all day with customers. Right. We had 3 industry customer calls that I held, and speaking to regulators, and this same question has come up many times, and I think it's a critically important issue. Today was focused on finding the issue and fixing it. Right now and tonight and through the night, it'll be focused on evaluating all of our procedures and making improvements so that we're not ever in this position again. But long term, it's continuing to get better every single day. These systems are very complex. These markets are very, very complex, and we need to continually be evolving to be the standard bearer. And if we don't do that, we won't be the largest exchange in the world. We won't be the center of the capital markets.
And, cybersecurity comes up, and we heard about United Airlines. The Wall Street Journal apparently got flooded after the NYSE suspended, and that may have been why they had an issue. But it all sort of happened at the same time. How worried were you at that point about cybersecurity or hacked?
We spend every day, not just today, working internally on cybersecurity, but also with the agencies. And we did the same today. Mm-hmm. And so we asked the question. We have no reason to believe this was external. In fact, it was internal. And even through our conversations with the agencies, we have no reason to believe that this was external.
So what do you think is the biggest issue now going forward in this week ahead? I mean, what happens now?
Look, there's a lot of interesting things going on in the world.
You could have gone to the disaster relief, right? That could have been an alternative. I mean, you didn't do that. You felt like that could have been actually even more detrimental?
So when we reopened today, the close, as you pointed out, happened very, very smoothly. I have confidence in our systems and our markets. With respect to in fact, it was an above average close, as you point out, and that's a sign of our customers kind of coming back to us, having faith in us. With respect to disaster recovery, there was no reason for us to go to disaster recovery today. We communicated with the market very consistently. I hope customers appreciate that, saying here, we're evaluating the issue. When we find the issue, we'll reopen the market. And they didn't have to do any work. If we went to disaster recovery, it would be disruptive for them. They'd have to do a good deal of work.
This is my last question. I know you have to go. I know you've been talking to regulators. You obviously were talking to Mr. Jeff Sprecher throughout the day. Were you? You were, right?
Absolutely.
Okay. Who was the biggest? I heard about Department of Homeland Security. I heard President Obama was briefed. I heard John Kerry was briefed abroad. Who was probably the biggest person you spoke with today?
I don't want to comment on any of those, lest it offend any of those folks. Suffice it to say, this was a very big deal. I do think it underscores our central role in the world and in the capital markets. And I take great pride, while I'm disappointed about today's events, I take great pride in the fact that we opened, when we took it down, we found the problem, we got it back up, and we had a smooth close, and all NYSE listed stocks were able to trade all day, whether here or on other venues. But I understand people really care about the New York Stock Exchange, and to some extent they want it to succeed, and it only makes me more hungry and our team more hungry to do a great job.
All right. Well, Tom Farley,
thank you
for coming on.
Thanks so much.
Business. I appreciate it. We're here every day, and we're glad that you were able to come on with us.
I appreciate it.